Have you had feedback on Dan Flood talking to us?
Oh, yes. Yeah, a lot of feedback on Dan Flint talking, and
Positive?
it's very positive, yeah. Very positive.
What are your big ideas on job creation? I know that was one of the big issues I saw on the site was you want to create jobs, not destroy them.
Exactly. Well, there's two aspects to jobs. One is jobs in economic development in northeastern Pennsylvania, and then jobs, right? I think that we have to stop spending and give small businesses and even large businesses some tax cuts. Specifically, with regard to large businesses, I think that there should be a two-tiered corporate income tax. I think that the income tax at 35% pushes jobs overseas, and companies have figured out how to not have to bring their money back when they earn it overseas. You've seen some of the recent discussions on how to actually get that back and repatriate the dollars that have been earned overseas. Well, I say leave the foreign income tax for U.S. corporations at 35% and reduce the domestic income tax to 10%, which would be smaller than Ireland, which is the smallest income tax in the world for a corporation. And then instead of investing in places, a lot of people think that it's the hourly rate of the employee that causes all of the offshore investing. Now, I'm not suggesting that it's not, some of that. But in a lot of ways, it's our tax structure. We penalize companies for doing well when they do well in the United States. I'd like to see foreign investment, any investment, at a 10% level. If you're not going to nail the companies that are going to invest in the United States, then maybe we'll have more foreign investments. Quite frankly, I don't care where the investments come from as long as it's not stealing defense secrets. Okay, but I'm really interested in doing things that help jobs, not create jobs that are artificial in nature. You know, today the government, of course, has become even larger. But let me not go there. We're welcome to come back to that if you'd like. So that's one of my notions: is reduce the tax, and then for those companies that have offshored and that they've been big violators, like my company, IBM, is terrible. They're the worst, and they have a squeaky clean image, but IBM happens to be one of the worst. In fact, they enable others to offshore. So I think that a second notion with regard to the reduction to 10% is that a penalty up to 20% for those companies that offshore. So the net gain is 15 for those if you're offshoring, but for each set of jobs, each percentage set of jobs that you bring back, your corporate income tax decreases. So there's an incentive for large companies to bring jobs back and to reinvest in the United States. And that's really what I think is extremely missing today. If I may, there's also the notion of visas, V-I-S-A. There are some visas are wonderful. We have professors in a lot of the universities who we never be able to have people at that caliber or level without having some visa programs to permit that. But you have this notion. There's an H-1B. There's over 80 some visas. It's amazing the number of visas that there are for different jobs. Well, they have a tech job category called H-1B, and the current level for H-1B is 65,000, and they have not adjusted that. We're losing jobs right and left. Every time you see a report, there's more jobs left or that have gone away. Unemployment's increasing, and we're still permitting 65,000 per year of people who are not Americans to take jobs that otherwise would be Americans. And I've seen the kind of people that come in. They're very smart. They're very good. And despite the fact that they're not supposed to, they work very cheap. And in many ways, they're like indentured servants to the company that sponsors them, and the company sponsors them green cards so that ultimately they never leave. And an H-1B visa is good for 6 years or 10 years, depending upon the nature. So once you commit to 65,000, you're committing to 65,000 for 6 to 10 years. Wouldn't that be nice if somebody came up with 400,000 tech jobs for us all of a sudden? Wouldn't that be nice? Well, they're here. They're already here. So my suggestion would be that we reduce the visa number to somewhere in the neighborhood, buy something in the neighborhood of 90 to 95% until we get back on our feet. The whole notion of the visas was in case we needed them. We don't need them.